When Ella Quinn first saw the job listing, it didn't look real. Babysitter needed. No cleaning, no cooking. Just presents. $500 per night. Cash discretion required. The flyer was printed on plain white paper, taped to the corkboard outside a half-empty laundromat in upstate New York. Most of the tear-off tabs were still there. Maybe others thought it was a joke. Ella didn't. She was 24, newly graduated, and dead broke. The job market had dried up. Her parents were done helping. Her landlord had left a red envelope on her door that morning. Final notice. So when she called the number and a calm, older woman answered within 2 rings, Ella didn't even hesitate. "You saw the posting?" the woman asked. Her voice was smooth but flat. "Yes, for the babysitting job. You'll arrive at 8 p.m. sharp. 311 Hawthorne Lane. The door will be unlocked." "Wait, we will not be there. Just sit in the living room until dawn. You'll be paid in full." Pause. "And one more thing. Do not open the bedroom door upstairs. Ever." Click. No introduction, no interview, no name. Just an address and a rule. Hawthorne Lane was quiet, lined with old oak trees and houses that hadn't been renovated in decades. 311 stood out not because it was large or creepy, but because it was still. The porch light was on. The door creaked open before she could touch it. Inside, everything was clean, almost surgically clean. A grandfather clock ticked steadily in the hallway. Plastic flowers stood in a vase. There were no pictures, no signs of a child. She called out softly, "Hello, is anyone home?" Silence. She settled into a floral-patterned armchair. A note was left on the table. "Stay here. Do not go upstairs. The child is already asleep. Do not let him wake up." Ella's stomach turned slightly. She hadn't been told there was a real child. At first, the shift was boring. She scrolled through her phone, watched a few videos, ate the granola bar she brought in her bag. The hours passed slowly, until 1:47 a.m. That's when the toys in the living room moved. Not by much, just a small wooden block, shifting slightly to the left. She froze. Then, a sound high-pitched, faint, almost like a giggle. It came from upstairs. She stared at the ceiling, heart pounding. Then, the house went silent. The grandfather clock had stopped ticking. Her phone screen turned black. She stood slowly, not sure why. And that's when she noticed the hallway mirror. Her reflection was smiling, but she wasn't. Ella grabbed her bag. Enough was enough. She didn't need the money that badly. Maybe it was a prank, or worse. As she reached for the doorknob, a child's voice behind her. "Leaving already? Mommy doesn't like that." She spun around. No one was there. She backed out the front door, hands shaking. She didn't even lock it behind her. The next morning, a plain white envelope was slid under her apartment door. Inside, $500, all in clean, crisp bills. No note, no return address. Her hands trembled as she held the money. She should have reported it, told someone, but rent was due, and $500 cash was just too easy. That night, she went back. When she entered the house for the second time, it looked the same. Only one thing had changed. The grandfather clock was ticking again. But this time, it was counting backward. Tick, 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 and upstairs, something whispered, "I liked the last one better." Ella went back. She shouldn't have. She told herself it was just the money. But a part of her deep down wanted answers. The second night began the same way. 311 Hawthorne Lane sat quiet, patient, as if expecting her. The porch light was already on. The door, again, unlocked. She paused this time, hand on the knob. Listening, nothing. Not a sound. "You're being paranoid," she whispered to herself. But even her own voice felt borrowed. Inside, the house was unchanged. Same pristine walls, same sterile smell. The toys in the living room were neatly aligned, too neatly. But the grandfather clock was gone. Instead, in its place, stood a tall mirror. One Ella swore wasn't there before. She approached it cautiously. Her reflection stared back, but there was something wrong with the face. It was hers, but not quite. The reflection blinked twice, but she hadn't blinked at all. She looked away, and just behind her, in the reflection, something small moved. That night, the whispers started earlier, 1:07 a.m. This time, they weren't muffled. They were right behind her ear, clear, cold. "Mummy's upstairs, crying again. Don't make her come down. She doesn't like when you leave." Ella stood frozen. Her phone vibrated. A call from an unknown number. She answered with trembling fingers. "Why are you back?" A woman's voice. but not the one from before. This one sounded younger, sad, and angry. "You're not her. You're not good." Click. Ella couldn't resist. She climbed the stairs, slowly, quietly. Each step felt like walking into something ancient, like a church that had long since been abandoned by God. The nursery door was open this time. Inside, the crib, now broken, paint peeled from the walls in long, curling strips, and in the corner a child's drawing. 5 stick figures, one tall woman, one man, a small boy, another woman. Her eyes scratched out in a 5th figure, drawn in red underneath in block letters. Nitrogen monoxide. One replaces Mummy. Suddenly, from the hallway, footsteps, small, running toward her. She slammed the nursery door shut. Ella glanced at her phone. 1:31 a.m. She blinked. When she opened her eyes it was 3:44 a.m. She was still standing in the hallway, still holding the doorknob. No memory of the last 2 hours. She backed away slowly. On the wall, a new message, etched into the paint with fingernails. "We took her away because she lied. We will take you to..." Her breath caught in her throat. She ran. She didn't grab her bag, didn't turn off the light, just ran. Back in her apartment, Ella locked the door, pulled the curtains, turned on every light. She didn't sleep, but at dawn, she saw it. On the bathroom mirror, written in steam though no one had showered. "You're already inside." She turned around. Nothing. No one. But her toothbrush was missing, and someone had used the toilet paper to draw a smiling stick figure. In red. That night, she told herself she wouldn't go back. She blocked the number, burned the flyer, even packed a bag to go stay at her sister's house across the city. But at 8 p.m. sharp, there was a knock at the door. Not from outside, from inside her closet, and a familiar child's voice. "You're late. Mummy's mad." Ella didn't sleep after the knock, not even a second. She sat curled on her couch, knees to chest, staring at her closet door, waiting. No footsteps, no whispers, just silence, thick as fog. But by dawn, the fear had transformed into something worse. Curiosity. She wasn't done, not until she knew what was in that house. Not until she understood why she had been chosen. That evening, she returned to 311 Hawthorne Lane, her own. No invitation, no call, just a need that felt stronger than reason. The house looked the same, but this time, there was no porch light. The door was unlocked, as always, but the inside was cold. Too cold. As if the walls were holding their breath. She walked straight upstairs to the nursery. It had changed again. Now, the crib was gone, replaced by a child-sized rocking chair, still moving. The walls were covered in crayon drawings, new ones. They depicted the same figure over and over. A woman with long hair, a mouth sewn shut, and a child standing behind her, holding scissors. On the mirror across the room, written in red lipstick, "You're almost a..." Ella backed away. She wasn't sure if she was shaking or if the house was. She remembered the strange bumps in the nursery wall, like the drywall had been patted. She knocked. "Hello." Ella grabbed a nearby toy, a wooden xylophone, and behind it, it was metal, and above it, scribbled in charcoal, "Mummy's room. Do not open. Do not open. Do not." The last part was scratched out, violently. She opened the door. The air inside was thick, heavy with mold and something worse. The walls were padded. The ceiling sagged with rot. There was a bed with restraints, children's toys arranged in perfect rows, a TV in the corner, playing static, and on the far wall 100 drawings of the same child, each one slightly different, but all labeled Jacob age 3, Jacob age 3, Jacob age 3. She stepped forward and found a small journal, barely intact. The journal belonged to the woman. Ella read, eyes wide. "He never aged, never grew. I buried him 3 times, but he kept coming back. Each time, a little angrier. I thought keeping the house occupied would help, but now, he's choosing them. They always come back. He makes sure of it." The final page was torn, but one sentence was still visible. "If you're reading this, you've already heard him whisper your name." Ella dropped the book, because she had. Last night, Ella whispered by a voice older than any child. Suddenly, the static on the TV stopped. A face appeared grainy, blurry. It was Ella, but not from now. She was sleeping in her own bed. The video zoomed in slowly, and in the corner behind her pillow a figure began to rise. Small, grinning, eyes wide. Ella screamed and turned off the screen. She ran through the tunnel, down the stairs, to the door, but it was locked, deadbolt sealed from the outside. From the kitchen, a child's voice sang, "Tick-tock, time to choose. Stay with me, or mummy lose." The lights flickered. She backed into the living room and the grandfather clock was back. But it wasn't ticking, it was whispering. She opened the door, she broke the rule. Now she lives inside the school, Ella screamed. The floorboards split beneath her, and everything went dark. When she woke, it was in a hospital. White walls, beep-in monitors. A nurse stood beside her, smiling too widely. "Welcome back, Miss Quinn. You were found outside a burned-down house on Hawthorne Lane." "Burned down," Ella croaked. "Yes, 2 weeks ago. No one's lived there in over 50 years. Ella's mouth opened to speak, but something in her pocket buzzed. She pulled it out. Her phone. On the screen, a live baby monitor feed, and in the frame, the nursery, intact, bright, crib rocking, and a whisper through the speaker, "We're still waiting for Mummy." Ella didn't know how long she stared at the baby monitor screen. The image refused to disappear. A perfectly intact nursery, a crib gently rocking, a figure standing just out of frame, breathing, watching. She turned off her phone, removed the battery, smashed it against the hospital floor. But when the screen cracked, it still glowed. The nursery was still there. They made her see someone. A psychiatrist. Government issued. Smiling too much, he asked routine questions. "Did you see anyone in the house? Do you believe in ghosts? What happened to the money?" But Ella didn't answer. Because in the doctor's office, behind him, on the wall, was a crayon drawing. A child, a woman, and a message in block letters. Tell her the truth. She didn't remember walking to the house. Didn't remember how she got past the police tape. Didn't even realize the building was completely gone. Burned to ash. Only the front steps remained. Yet she stood at the base of them, the air warm, humming, her fingers burned just from being near. And then she heard him. "You broke the rule, Ella, but it's okay. Mummy always comes back." She turned no one. But her phone vibrated again. It was on, batteryless, showing a new video feed. Her apartment. The camera slowly panned and stopped on her bed. A child was curled under the sheets, wearing her face, smiling. She needed answers. Back at the local library, she pulled every record on 311 Hawthorne Lane. That house had burned 3 times in the last 70 years. Every 23 years. Same cause. Electrical malfunction. Same result. Total loss. And each time, a woman had gone missing shortly after. All in their 20s. All nannies or babysitters. Their names: Diana Fuller, 1953, Marie Sutherland, 1976, Camilla Hart, 1999, and now. Aquí en menos 2025 at 2:13 a.m., she woke to a knock, but not from the door. From inside the wall behind her bed, she tore through the plaster with her hands, bloodied her fingers, until she found it. A small wooden box, carved with strange letters. Inside, photos, dozens of them, of Ella, sleeping, walking, laughing, as a child, all dated before she was born. And one, of her mother, with the boy Jacob. She confronted her mother. At first, her mother denied everything, but the moment Ella showed the photo, she froze, then whispered, "I never meant for it to be you. But the house doesn't forget. I thought if I gave them another, it would stop." Ella collapsed. "You made me the next one." Her mother nodded. "I didn't choose the contract, Ella. I signed it when I was pregnant. And now, it's yours." That night, Ella returned to the ashes of 311 Hawthorne. She didn't bring anything. No phone, no flashlight, no prayers, only resolve. There, in the rubble, stood the nursery. Untouched, glowing. The crib sat still, empty. A note rested inside. Finish what she couldn't, or stay forever. Then, the whisper again, all around her. You're her now. Be the mother, or be the memory. She sat in the chair, and the door sealed behind her. A week later, on the corkboard of a train station across the state, babysitter wanted. No cleaning, no cooking, just presence. $500 per night. Do not ask questions. Only one rule: don't open the bedroom door upstairs. And at the bottom, one name. Contact: Ella Quinn.